Okay, I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone to the June 19th meeting. I'd first like to say I'd like to wish Louis George a happy birthday today.
Still have it.
I think this is the only time I think it could be appropriate to ask, Louis, how old are you? 39. 39, all right, very good. Happy birthday, Lou.
Happy birthday.
Motion to approve the minutes of June 5th. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Financial report and payment of the bills. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on disbursement of the funds? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, first up we have, and I'm not sure if any of the recipients are here. So I think we'll, wait a minute, correct? Is a recipient here for the,
I do know that Ms. Contreras is out of the country,
okay.
and I was expecting Mr. Skidos.
Okay, very good. So we'll wait until you see, maybe we'll see Mr. Stevens, but the scholarship award presentation, we had some folks here we wanted to present that. But let's move on. Budget Amendment 2019-06. Steve Repo, you're on.
Budget amendment number 2019-06 is to recognize $7,000 in seeds funds for the purchase of unbudgeted uniform items for the Elkton Police Department.
We have a motion to accept Budget Amendment 2019-06.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that budget amendment? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Second budget amendment number 2019-07 is to use $10,825 of seeds funds for the purchase of unbudgeted taser cartridges, holsters, and related supplies for the Elkton Police Department.
We have a motion to accept Budget Amendment 2019-07.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Budget amendment number 2019-08 is to use $5,165 out of the anticipated fund balance for the purchase of the remaining lands of South Stream Residential Development. If you recall, budget amendment number 2019-02 used $250,000 for that purchase and ended up coming in about $5,000 greater than that. So that is to complete the budget for that purchase.
Very good. Do we have a motion to accept Budget Amendment 2019-08?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And finally, budget amendment number 2019-09 is to use $21,289 of the anticipated fund balance. That's for the acquisition and preparation of real property for the purpose of reselling 324 Hollingsworth Street and 208 Buttonwood.
Very good. Do we have a motion to accept Budget Amendment 2019-09?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Just to be, I guess, pretty clear, there should not be any more budget amendments?
Don't think so, but even though the fiscal year ends June 30th, we continue to have bills that will be chargeable to the current fiscal year. They'll be approved, so if anything comes up during the month of July, there could possibly be amendments to the 2019 budget.
Very good. And currently, do we have 324 Hollingsworth Street and 208 Buttonwoods up for sale at this point?
I think they're both for the realtor.
Signed the, of course, Sherry Willis is handling the 208, and I signed a sales agreement with her that sells 324.
Very good.
Understanding is 208 have been completed contract, and they're working out details on that now. I think that there's a little hiccups, but I think they'll work through that.
I feel, hopefully, we took care of some blighted properties, and the town of Elkton will be able to actually probably certainly receive more than what it cost us to do it. Okay, next up, we have a Parks and Recreation Advisory Board report. It's in front of us all here. Did anyone want to, did you guys want to present this, or you just want me to talk about it?
It's up to you.
You go for it.
All
We'll
right.
jump in if we need to.
Well, I think it'd be great if we had two members from the advisory board up here, so the board can see who our advisory members are. Come on down.
Well,
Yours is a little shy.
She
I'm
is,
not sure at all.
she is a little bit.
Thank you.
So, and I see we have Mary. Mary, are you going to trust them with this information? Okay, very good. And I think it's important for the board to recognize the hard effort that the advisory board is putting together to help improve, make our Parks and Rec better than what it is today. We're always trying to improve, and thank you, Mary Ann and Ed, for being here. And I think in front of all of us here, you'll see that kind of the minutes from, and I'll go through it, and if we have any questions or if you have any additional comments, just bring it up to me. So the Parks and Rec Advisory Board met on June 5th, and the following things that were talked about. Probably the most important part is we're looking ahead today because we're probably less than a year away from when that building is going to be in operation. So we as a board have to make some decisions on how we're going to start the planning, start the staffing, and make sure that our staff is trained to operate this facility. And the advisory board suggested the following staff be hired for the neighborhood community center. One being the director, which we have, the recreational supervisor or recreational coordinator, a force secretary, a custodian, and the custodian would be there based upon the hours of operation, and of course the part-time staff that would be used during the programming. Also, you'd have the contractual program instructors. So you recommend the following staff trainings, and you'll have to help me understand this. You're recommending the staff trainings for them to understand the facilities, the operation, preparation of the facilities. What exactly did that mean?
Mary Andrada was employed by the University of Delaware for over 13 years. She was responsible for what they call an old bomb, looks like an old airplane hangar. She was responsible for the total operation of that facility for over 13 years, so she comes with a wealth of knowledge as far as administration.
Very good. So the board believes that the hours of operation should be Monday through Saturday between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. With a total of 84 hours budgeted for staffing. Sundays would be available for a rental basis, including staffing for rentals. That's the thinking. You recommend us moving forward with an advertising campaign regarding the upcoming community center and program opportunities. It's agreed that we want to take a proactive stance in the planning and the programming, recruiting instructors for the programs, and initiating a rental agreement as soon as possible. Programs will be conducted on a seasonal basis, spring, summer, fall, and winter. Let's see, advisory board will make recommendations, ideas at the July meeting of what program should be run in the community center. The advisory board discussed with the Parks and Rec director that the instructors are vital in recruiting participants for the programs and classes, Payment to the instructor should include appropriate compensation for the use of the facility as well as services rendered. All renters should go through a procedure for the community center, scheduling, lease agreement, certificate of insurance, and of course more. The community center will offer open time scheduled for limited private use of the gym. The equipment cost should be examined. The Parks and Rec Department should inventory all equipment that will be going into the community center. Budgeting scholarships through sponsorship. And I was there when you talked a little bit about that, trying to create something where the businesses would sponsor a certain amount of programs for that department to award scholarships throughout the community. One comment that you made in here, that you strongly feel that there's a need for a window inside that office room, inside the gymnasium overlooking the gymnasium. Help me understand what the thinking there is.
There's 2 rooms that are considered on the plans as equipment rooms. In most of the elementary schools, the gymnasium, there's a small office with a window, usually the physical instructor, phys ed instructor, that's his or her office. We feel that once we have sanctioned leagues going, or adult programs, or any program going on at all, that person can stay in that office and have visual contact with the whole gym instead of standing outside.
They're observing, because if anything happens in that gym, they have to be up in there 24/7, because the bottom line, safety, safety, safety. So when they walk into the building, first thing on their mind should be safety. So anybody that walks in there. So the window will be an observing point, that when they look around and see what's happening, people running, this, that, they can take an initiative, to tell them, come on, man, you can't do that, rules, regulations, and stuff like that. So that's another reason why I think that window would be a deterrent, that people are going to try to do whatever they want to do, because nobody's in there maintaining that section. So many things can happen in a gymnasium. Me being in recreation for the last 30 years, so many things can happen just like that. A kid can go down. We don't have anybody doing, there's so many avenues. So we need a face up in that window 24/7, and that's why we want the window, if it's possible.
I was going to say the same thing, if it's possible, but normally when you're in the gym facility, even though that window is there, it definitely helps the supervisory position. But if all possible, that person should be out on the floor.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's another thing, walking around, whatever it may be, but that's just another idea. It's giving out equipment, whatever it may be, because I don't know if we're going to have an opportunity to, with summer camps and stuff, the equipment is coming out of that section, so you can return it at the end. So you have an organization to the point, how many balls, how many this, how many that. So everything's organized, kept in place, and, you keep track of what's good, what's not, what's broke, what's not broke. So
We also felt that if we have, for instance, we have an adult co-rec volleyball league, there's going to be a coordinator who's actually going to be out on the gym floor running that program.
Right.
But there's somebody still there in case something happens. We felt that there needs to be at least a person, three staff members, be it part-time, full-time, on duty at all times. Up front, people greeting people coming in, someone who has knowledge of the facilities, and then someone in the back end that covers that part of the building.
And that window becomes very, very important if you only got a limited staff and maybe one person. And I say that because of my own experience. I even had not only window overlooking the gym, but even when we went into the locker room, it had windows all around, because it's difficult sometimes when you're limited, and I agree with you there.
But that's, unfortunately, there's no locker rooms.
I understand that, but I'm saying
Yeah.
if, and now I'm using an instance where a window becomes very, very important as far as the supervision.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus the safety of all the way around, we really have to secure the building.
Lou, is there a reason why we couldn't put a window in?
We discussed that with the Wickersham, and I can't remember what the outcome was. Do you remember, Mary?
We put it in, and then it came back out again.
Why? Why?
we were gonna have a person on the floor, as suggested by, rather than we don't have anybody, we don't have staffing, like somebody in the window 24/7. But when there's programs going on, we'll have people on the floor.
I agree with their recommendation personally, because it only takes that one time where you have to remove yourself from the floor and go into the office for some reason. And just being able to keep a visual on everything is very important.
Well, there's not an office there, it's just an equipment room, so there'll be a window in the door of the equipment room that somebody would have to stand there and look out. There's not an office there, the offices are in the front. It's the design, it's not designed for an office there.
Well, we'll take a look at
Yeah,
that.
take a look at that.
Go ahead.
There's one suggestion, I know that you guys have worked hard hours on this, but keep in mind that when you run adult programs, especially volleyball, a lot of adults normally look between 8 to 11 for that volleyball tournament, or not tournament, leagues to run. That way you're all the way from the youth, the young students. And I do know a lot of organizations who have volleyball leagues that run anywhere between 7 to 11. So I just keep that in mind. I know your operation hours you talked about from 7 till 9. But maybe you might want to think about extending it to a couple hours for that.
But when we came up with the hours of operation, we had that, took that into consideration that if we do have an adult league and we have a coordinator that's running that league, they're responsible for the total operation of that league. And if we have to extend the hours of operation to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they're the only people in the building. The other programs are done at 9.
Gotcha. I just want
Right,
to point that
right.
out.
You're always gonna have somebody in that building 24/7, you know, always up in there. They'll be responsible for closing the building, locking it down, and all that.
I have a question. Mayor, you mentioned that a director is lined up already, and
Director McGall.
and how are we doing with the rest of the staffing? Do you have other people
Well,
lined up?
we feel that Mary has
I have one
Yes.
additional full-time person.
one full-time person. A lot of the programs, if you have successful programs, the initiative, if you advertise a program, adult program, say like karate, you try to recruit someone who's, has the expertise in that aspect of the sport. The more money they'll make more money on the basis if they go out and recruit their participants. And that's one thing that you have to do with recreation programs. If you advertise it in the paper or in the manual that comes out quarterly, which we plan on, we hope to have quarterly programs, you need a minimum of 10 to run that program. If that instructor goes out and recruits 10 more, they stand and make more money, and we recommend it as a 50-50 proposition. 50% of total program costs go to the instructor, and the rest goes to the town recreation fund.
Have you guys been lining up programs?
We feel that 8 months prior to the actual turnkey operation, we feel that the town, Mary would be asking the town for additional funds to run a public relations campaign advertising the programs. And we feel that, don't be afraid to fail. You advertise programs, they may not go, you may not get enough participants, but you don't know until you actually advertise them. And if they go, that's a plus. Plus, you may have other organizations that want to use certain rooms that we would lease off to them or give to them for their programs.
Thank you.
So as you come with a new program to the community, I know certainly we talked about a lot of activities, and quite sure the community has talked about a lot of activity. Are you thinking that this public relations is going to include something like a needs assessment so Mary will know exactly what's needed? Because if you see people now know that it's going up, they're thinking this is going to be this, that, and the other. It may not be, but also you need to look at the fact that, you know, the building is going to go up to provide some type of needs that the community wants.
Yes.
You have done that or going to do that?
There will be that flexibility. in the program, and Mary's aware of that. We're recommending that if there's a bulletin sent out 8 months prior advertising programs, we want to put in there, we are accepting scholarships from corporates, that money would go towards needy children to pay for their programs. So we're looking at money making and also programs that the community needs.
And to make it all inclusive, I remember the mayor was talking about, having programs or needs for senior citizens in the community. That's why I'm saying needs assessment includes everything.
So that's why the building also has to be handicap accessible.
Well, that will
You
be,
have to
yes.
make sure you have all that stuff up in there, if you're gonna also be bringing the seniors into the building. So there's a lot of things to look at. It's just not, let's build a building and throw people in it. You gotta think about the whole dynamics of what it's gonna be to make this building successful and run it.
And my last question is, as I look at and I don't want to be preempt anything, but I see for staffing, and you don't know exactly how that's going to be at the outset, but I see a director, a recreational supervisor, and a recreational coordinator. Somewhere, I hope that these don't overlap, because again, you're starting from the scratch, and you may not need them there.
Correct. Not
And
next-
so
not right
I'm
away.
trying to, and with Murray, you putting this together, so where does the difference lie with the supervisor and the coordinator in your job? Who's gonna have what responsibility? You don't have to have an answer now, but in the future, you don't want them to overlap and people be doing the same job.
It would be staffing on an as-need basis. There should be at least one professional paid employee full-time in that building, at least from operations, certain hours of operations.
Absolutely.
5 days a week. You can fill in part-time coordinators on weekend, on Saturday, and if there's at least somebody wants, like a church, if the church wants to go in and use the gym for services on Sunday, they would pay, they would have to have insurance, they would pay a certain fee to rent the place. You'd only need one person to stay at that building.
And I can understand that, but during the day, we know that Murray is paid to be there, so we're talking in terms from morning to afternoon. I'm talking that from when she leaves in the afternoon to night.
Correct.
These are the people I'm talking about who's going to staff it. Is it going to be one person there, as you just said, and the person who's doing the teaching, or is there going to be a combination of things there? I mean,
Yeah.
it's early yet, but I'm just throwing that out.
That's why we're throwing it out too, to the point of, we don't know what's gonna happen. Once the building's up and running, we don't know if the clientele that's gonna all of a sudden show up. So we have to make adjustments but you already have Mary, you already have her coordinator that you already have people in place already. But we might have to also add other staff members, which is gonna cost.
Or you may not need them because
And
the
we
mayor,
may not,
the
but
mayor
we
has to,
don't
or
know.
we have to come up with a budget. That's the reason why I asked.
Exactly, and that's what we're trying to.
Thank you.
Based on the
Based on it.
Correct.
You can sign it. I would say that certainly, I want to thank the advisory board for helping us, because this is a big step for us. It's a huge step for us and the community, and your input is very valuable to us. And I wanted to also recognize not only you two, but of course Chris Linkus and Brian Triana Phyllis. Did I say that correct or close enough? And of course, working with Mary, it's been, thank you. And I would appreciate the updates from here on out to us, and we're going to do our best to listen to you.
We have a scheduled, next scheduled meeting will be June 9th at 6:30. July, excuse me. And we challenged each board member to come in with program ideas that we can give to Mary, go ahead and start possibly recruiting instructors.
I'm sorry, Ed, what was that date, your next meeting?
July 9th.
July 9th.
And where's that going to be?
Usually direct office.
Programming that building it's not hard to do, trust me. I've done it. It's easy to bring people in. It's just the idea of maintaining it and keep it up and running. So programming is not an issue, at least for me.
Any other questions from the board? Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Also, I contacted Matt Roberts from the Board of Education, who's in charge of scholastic athletics for the whole county. And We are planning on hopefully July 1st, if not July 2nd, because Mary won't be able to make July 1st, to go out and tour the 3K cross-country course. Matt has already run it and said it has a lot of potential. And what we're looking at is possibly getting it certified as a sanctioned course that the high school can use, the town can use, anyone can program it, and that would be one part of the recreation programs that Mary and that her staff can run 5K races.
Very excited about that. As you can tell, I'm a pretty good runner. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there someone here I know from the Cecil County Arts Council? Come on down. Let's see what you have to show us tonight.
All right.
We keep turning you down on everything, so maybe we might be able to say yes on one of these eventually.
I'm Brayden Dunn, my assistant, which is really Danielle, the program manager from the Arts Council. And in the interest of keeping everything green, we're going to hand you the papers and just pass it down to look at, and we have one for each section. So there's 3 or 4 murals. Do you want us to do a building at a time?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Tell us what you're wanting to do. And I would have to say, none of correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think any of this is on Town of Elkton property that you're painting the murals on, or are you?
Main Street, Bow Street, the Cecil County Public Library, the main branch.
But it's not our buildings,
Not
right?
your building.
Okay.
Town, that's yours. I'm going to start at the beginning. The papers that you're going to see are the existing condition. This is 113 West Main Street, also known as the hair salon. The state of Maryland, the Maryland State Arts Council, is working on a film project, and they are including Cecil County. So when they approached me to ask for the places of art that they could include in their film, I mentioned some of our sculptures, some of our murals, our theater places, our dance studios, and when I went to measure the buildings with existing murals, I realized how bad of a condition the murals were. Tracked it down to the building owners and asked their permission to redo the murals. Some we're going to repair and some we're going to completely remove and redo. The first one, 113 West Main Street, is going to be a complete redo. So the blue papers are the existing condition. I washed it just a little, but the paint is flaking off. The proposed mural is the black and white image at the end. But I have a good version. So this will be the new mural on the 113 West Main Street.
In black and white?
In blue and blue.
It was the next page.
It'll be like a sea blue, and a navy blue will be the silhouettes. We still have to go before the Historic Commission for approval, but we've sent some of these images out, and they seem to be receptive. Mural number 1.
Very good.
Oh, my.
I like number 1 so far.
Okay. This next group of papers represents what we call the pizza place on 128 West Main, the Old Brothers. Again, that mural is in disrepair. This one we're not going to remove. We're going to repair what is there already. Then finish the murals all the way down the whole length of the building. So when you drive down Main, that whole thing will have a mural. It will be done in the sepia tones that are currently on the building right now. But when you go behind the building on Howard Street, it's going to have a pop of color, which is the piece that you see that says the arts are alive.
Yeah.
Vanna?
This is it.
Some of these images are great, some are not, but the artists just give you the quality until they remove their watermarks, and yeah.
That's gonna be on that.
That's going to be on the
I
Howard
love
Street
it. I love it.
side.
I wanna see the whole section back there, revamped.
Yes.
It's a wonderful start.
And it's hard to visualize, but these are some of the buildings that are proposed to continue that sepia tone mural down the side of both street buildings. So The Historical Society and the building owner can decide, but these were recommended. They would do a sepia tone, one of the armory, or one of the log cabin, up in the air. But the entire building will have a mural. And that's in mural number 2 and 3.
Very good.
And this is mural 4. What this is the entrance to the Cecil County Public Library. It's a work in progress, it is half begun. It's airbrush background that gives a illusion of animals. It's going to be interactive for kids. The way that will finish is there will be 3D image, and the artist will then airbrush so that the stories will come out, and they're samples of the books. Like it will be famous books, Harry Potter, and Green Gables, somebody said Dracula. So the book image will be 3D, and then they'll have quotes from the book painted onto the wall. And that is the end of the mural presentation.
Wow.
Very good. Well, I guess collectively, we don't have to take a vote on this, but I would say, how does the board collectively feel about it? Good, good?
I am.
Good? Good, you got the blessing.
Thank you very much.
So get the property owner's blessing and let's move on.
Move on.
And if you need me to help you paint the mural, I'll be happy to.
We'll get a Saturday.
I got a roller.
See, you don't know primer, they can just put the straight primer and they can use you for that.
That's right. Okay, Elkton Housing Authority, come on down. Request from a letter of support for conversion of the project-based vouchers of up to 25% of the Elkton Housing Authority public housing units as part of the rental assistance demonstration conversion of a home for the elderly and Windsor Village. Tell us what you need, because I know that you were going back and forth with Lou, and you had requested a letter of support from Lou George.
Yes.
And I wasn't sure if Lou could actually authorize that letter of support. And I think you told me you didn't need my letter of support, so I didn't. I think you said that one time. So I just wanted to give the board, tell us what you're actually looking for, and let's hope that we can make this happen tonight.
Thank you very much. My name is David Holden. I'm with the Ingerman Group. We're thrilled to be partners with Elkton, with Cindy and the Elkton Housing Authority. We met before the board, I think it was about 2.5 years ago when we first started to put this proposal together, and kind of went through our concept for redeveloping Rudy Park, the Main Street property, and Windsor Village. And so it's great tonight to come back and give you kind of an update. We've been busy. We've been to the zoning board. We've been to the planning board a number of times, and we've been to the historic review commission as well. And we've also been to the state of Maryland and assembled a financing package that'll allow us to move forward with these renovations. We hope to start in the next, I'd say, 90 days or so, if all goes well. And so what I thought I would just walk through briefly before Cindy gets to the letter is just to kind of refresh your idea about what we're proposing to do. Rudy Park will be totally redeveloped, so all the buildings that are there now will come down. And maybe the best thing to do is turn 2 pages in to the photographs. And these are examples of buildings that we've built in other parts of Cecil County that will be very similar to what we proposed for Rudy Park. They're what I call a stack flat. Every unit has its own private entrance. There's no corridors. Every unit has outdoor storage and either a patio or a porch. It's a mix of 1 and 2 and 3-bedroom units. All the ground floor units are handicap accessible. This property, then if you go back to the cover page, we've maintained the loop road, but we've moved the community building into the middle of the property. And the community building will still include the makerspace that the Housing Authority runs. That it's a very successful program, as well as staff offices for management and maintenance an activity room for the residents, and also kind of be like the focus of the community. We're gonna add a top line attached to that community building, and then also maintain the playground equipment that is on the western part of the site as well. So that's the kind of the quick overview for Rudy Park. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about it, or we can go just finish and come back. The next one is the Main Street senior property, which is this image here. You can see I don't know if you're aware the bridge that's out front there is failed, and so we've had structural engineers look at it. There's some photographs included. Basically, to fix that bridge, we're kind of bulking out and creating these planter beds that you see in the next page. So the sidewalk will be a little wider and provide some landscaping and soften the front of that building. We did go to the Historic Review Commission, to run the Historic District, to get their approval. We're modifying the windows, making them a little taller and more narrow, putting some lighting up front to try to, soften the front of that building. All those units will be renovated with new HVAC, new finishes, bathroom, kitchen, the corridors, basically give it a new light. And then the last section is the Windsor Village. We have 50 duplexes, or 25 duplexes, 50 units. We're keeping these buildings and renovating them, redoing the exteriors, the brick and the siding, the roofs, putting in new HVAC, much more efficient, new kitchens and bathrooms, new carpet, new windows, so that there'll just be a much more quality living experience for the residents. Like I said, we hope to start construction on all 3 projects in the next 90 days or so. And it would take about 12 months to be able to start to reoccupy.
I thought it was important for you to come back and show the board. We've got, actually, I don't think Gene saw it initially. You didn't see any of this initially, and I know Rob didn't see any of it initially. So we had 2 new members back onto the board, and this is I think it's probably been closer to 3 or 4 years, but it's certainly seems like it's ready to go now, right?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, and one of the last pieces brings us to the letter, one of the findings and commitment requirements is to get the whole public hearing and still do it.
So the public hearing, I believe, is scheduled for July the 29th. That we'll have at 150 East Main Street. And I believe it's at 1 o'clock p.m., but it is advertised in the paper. And as David said, this has been a long-going, the Housing Authority's actually been in the planning stages for about 10 years. Some things have changed, but nothing drastically. And the letter of support at different, increments through the project, we have to have specific letters from different parts of the community, and one being the mayor and commissioners. So we've gotten letters supporting our low-income housing tax credit applications that we were approved for by the state, so we thank you for that. We have requested letters for the RAD application, which is rental assistance demonstration. That is HUD's, basically what's in HUD's toolbox as a suggestion to preserve the public housing units. So we had to come before the board when we initially started to request your support for us to participate in that demonstration project, which essentially converts all of our 150 public housing from 3 sites over to a Section 8 based funding platform. And before we could complete that, we needed to do the tax credit applications to get monies to enhance the properties and to redevelop at Rudy Park. The units, we will be adding overall 18 additional units of affordable housing in the Rudy Park complex that will be able to assist smaller families, specifically 1-bedroom families, which we don't currently have the ability to have in that community. But we will be reducing the 4 and 5 bedroom unit count at that site. So we have a pretty detailed relocation plan to address issues of residents who need larger units. They would go to our Windsor Village site, or they will also have the opportunity to accept one of our housing choice vouchers, and they could participate with a private landlord within Elkton, and we will help them manage their relocation prior to getting started on construction at that site. So we are responsible for all of the relocation issues with the residents and all the expenses. We did have an opportunity probably in January, February to amend our application with HUD, and one of the issues with the conversion was that it was cost neutral. We couldn't add any costs to what it currently was to operate as a public housing program. So we had to design our conversion and go shopping about for all the different programs and needs that we needed to bring in to make the project pencil out and still work and be a good viable product for the next 30, 40 years. And one of the things that we were able to do was apply for tenant protection vouchers, which is a special pot of vouchers that HUD offers that would allow us to bring in a higher rent than what we've originally set as our flat RAD rents. And we had a very difficult time with Windsor and Main Street getting those projects to pencil out on our 4% tax credit deal. And then looking for future rents, the rents were also very low. And so the tenant protection vouchers, to have 25 of those 100 units between Windsor and Main considered under this Section 18 program, tenant protection vouchers, will let us have a higher rent, which will not impact the residents, but it will impact the source of subsidy, which is going to come from the multifamily or the public Indian housing. There's two different programs that will be mixed together in vouchers for the seniors and for Windsor. So it sounds very complicated, but we're not changing the unit count at all. We just have to pull 25 of these units, and they're specially called tenant protection vouchers, so that we can get higher rents, and then we had to designate which of these units would be those vouchers in each property. So that was the 4-page map that I had Michelle distribute for you. The first page is Windsor Village, and we've highlighted in yellow the units that we would identify as tenant protection voucher units. And then the next 4 pages is the home for the elderly, outline each of the floors with the highlights on each floor of which specific units would be targeted as tenant protection voucher units. So that's the breadth of what our request for support letter was for, and to let you know as well about that change that has prompted a new public hearing, because we would have initially had to talk in our March annual public hearing meeting for the Housing Authority about the fact that we included Section 18 units, and we failed to do that because at that point we were still kind of conversing about if we could in fact have it mixed in. This is one of these late things that HUD's coming out with, and it's allowing the smaller housing authorities that have not previously considered this RAD conversion the opportunity to come on and get involved in it, and gives them a little bit more incentive to make their numbers work. So we also had the ability to amend our application to make our future project better as well.
Perfect. Is there any questions or comments from the board? I'd like to ask the board, you can give me a thumbs up, there no need to vote, I don't think on this, but will be all right if I sign the letter of support?
Seems like they've certainly done their homework.
All right. Thank
The reading
you.
part's gonna be
Thank you.
flat.
Come back. It'll be back.
It looks like it's gonna be beautiful.
Very good, we'll be happy to sign the letter.
Thank you.
Thanks for your help, thank you. Okay. By any chance, is Mr. Stevens here? Not here? Okay.
I don't think he's coming. I spoke to him Sunday night as well as today, and he's supposed to be coming, but he's not here.
He was a scholar.
Okay, Lou, you're on.
The first item we have is a request from David Testerman for an alcohol waiver for the Elkton High School class of '84 that is wanting to have an event downtown on October 4th from 6 to 11 p.m. involving North Street from 117, 118 North Street to Main Street, and from 107 to 109 West Main Street to 107 East Main Street. I believe the board authorized him at that, when he was here, that they could have this event in front of the Elkton Alliance.
That's correct.
That's my understanding.
Yep.
So he has requested an alcohol waiver for his class reunion on October 4th, 6 to 11 p.m.
Do we have a motion to approve the alcohol request for the Elkton High School class of 1984, and actually it's going to be, I think, alumni, the whole alumni for October 4th, 2019. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that at all?
Yes, discussion. I thought he was supposed to come back before that time to meet with the officials there to make sure that where they're going to hold this is going to be correct.
No, after we had the meeting, at which time the board said in front of the Alliance,
Right.
they did not want to use the Alliance building, just the front of the Alliance. And that was clarified the next day, so he was not going to come.
So
back.
he good to come when it happens then.
I beg your pardon?
I said it's good for him now that he knows what's going to be and where, as a follow-up.
Yes, sir, he and I
Okay.
talked about that.
Okay.
Is that first Friday?
Yes.
It's on the first Friday, too.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item is a alcohol waiver for Singley Fire Company. The waivers were August 23rd, 2019, from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The activity is Singley Fire Company Truck Cruise In event, North Street from 117, 118 North Street to Main Street. I believe this is the, where they have a lot of antique equipment, fire service equipment come downtown. And I received something from Sam Colbert and Phil Kellen about all the sponsors of this particular activity. So I would recommend the board authorize a waiver for Singley Fire Company.
We have a motion to accept the request for an alcohol waiver for Singley Fire Company, August
Second.
23rd, 2019. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item I have is Resolution R9, 2019. This is disposal of surplus property. This is a request for a resolution by the board that authorizes the committee, the town administrator, to dispose of the 2008 Ford Crown Victoria that belonged to the Elkton Police Department by virtue of its service life no longer valid for police services. And we'll sell this vehicle at Ritchie Brothers, just down Ritchie Brothers. So Ritchie Brothers. That's what we take our vehicle down and we get our best bang for the buck by going to a public auction down there.
We have a motion to accept resolution R9-2019.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Lou. Charlie, you missed one. Okay, we have a few things here on the agenda tonight. First up, we have a reappointment to the Elkton Housing Authority Board. I'd like to reappoint Bob Olewine to the board for the term of January 31st, 2019 through January 31st, 2024. Do we have a motion to accept Bob Olewine?
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on Bob? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We had a recommendation from the Elkton Housing Authority to fill a vacancy They're recommending us to appoint Jerome Garrett Sr. to the Elkton Housing Authority to fill a vacancy of a term which would expire January 1st, 2021. We have a motion to accept Jerome Garrett Sr.
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Very good. Got those couple appointments out of the way. Let's see here. I wanted to make the board aware that on Friday evening at 5 p.m., the Elkton Little League is going to recognize the Jablonski family with a plaque at the Elkton Little League field, and hopefully the board can show their support and be there during that time.
Give me that
If at all possible.
date and time again,
It's 5 o'clock on Friday, Friday being the June 21st, 5 p.m. It's on the, I think, the girls' field. Let's see, I believe that is all I have. Rob, you have anything this evening?
Yeah, actually, perfect. On behalf of the Elkton Alliance, I sat at one of their meetings, and they were discussing closing the Howard Street parking lot behind Ed's Fashions to open it up for kind of an overflow lot for the 4th of July fireworks, so people could spread blankets and bring chairs and observe the fireworks from that parking lot. And I was wondering if we could pass that.
Yeah, without question. I think I think it would be good the more. I know a lot of people use Howard Street and the Little League fields to watch fireworks, but I think it would be great if we could have more people use that area. So,
Yeah, take the pressure off Meadow Park and try to get out of there.
do you what are you asking for? Just permission to use the parking lot?
Yeah, just to block it off. And,
Like I said, we got to get the approval.
I'll need my authorization, you want it blocked off, it'll be blocked off.
Well, I'm saying that because police escort or directions, I mean.
Always
I'll notify Public Works.
Yeah, Public Works will be barricaded off.
Okay. Always includes.
We just want to make sure that we can use Howard Street and then just, you're talking about just blocking off the parking
Just a
lot?
lot.
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of think it's already used.
yeah. I think it's,
People actually do park in there.
Well, we're talking about blocking off so no vehicles will be in there and it'll just be blankets and chairs spread out over the whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm good with that. You guys good with that?
I'm good with it.
Very good. Anything else, sir?
Thank you very much. No, sir.
Earl?
I just have one announcement for a, they're going to be doing a dedication and a revealing of a new road name for the Abundant Life Worship Center. Bishop Uriel Harris, I guess his 90th birthday would be July the 7th. So apparently they're asking the town to do a resolution and also a revealing of the name of Bishop Uriel Harris, I think road or way, whichever one it is. But I just wanted to announce it that that's going to be on July the 7th, and any board members can come out. I think there's going to be the revealing of the sign at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then at 4 o'clock it's going to be the dedication. So if anybody can make it, I would appreciate you come through.
Thank you.
Well, Sam, Solomon Harris is now the acting pastor in the church.
Very good. Gene?
No, I was gonna sing happy birthday to Louis, but you already took care of that.
Solo?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Are they still happy?
Yeah. Now, no, I just want to wish all of you a safe, enjoyable, and productive convention next week at Ocean City. I'm gonna miss you, and I know you're gonna miss me, but you'll be fine.
All right.
You'll be fine.
Thank you. Charles?
I think we need to rethink how we're going to present the scholarships to the students at Elkton High School. For the past 5 years, we've been giving 2 scholarships out, and the procedure usually has been going to the awards night, seniors award night, and indicating the 2 students that is going to receive scholarships selected by the guidance department. Basically, I think I did that once, and Earl did it once, and Mary Jo and myself, and I was at the most recent. And it's always a nice affair. The students receive a letter from the town of Elkton acknowledging the fact that they are receiving a scholarship, inviting them to come to our meeting so we as a board can officially see who they are. Started out good. They would show up. Last year, they showed up. I think the year before that, 1 showed up. But this year, neither has shown, and out of respect to them, the young lady who has, which I'll give you her pedigree in a second, is on a trip overseas with her parents. The young man has been contacted twice. He didn't show. So anybody got any thoughts on how we want to do this? Now, I know the county also gives scholarships as well as other, and they just present it to them right then and there. But here, they come here, we see them, and they get the check officially to the school that they're going to.
I would say give them the check.
And they don't have to show?
Yeah.
If everybody's in
As long
agreement.
as they take a picture with you.
Well, they have to take a picture with me, but they always came and took pictures with us.
Yeah.
I would say, when I was on the board, it would be nice to give it to them during graduation.
You can't, not graduation, you mean awards, you can't give it during the graduation, no.
You can give it.
No, I can't, they deserve that.
I was just thinking it'd be a good time, but anyway.
Anyhow, the 2 recipients, they were selected by the guidance counselor. Her name was Margarita Contreras, and she had a GPA of 4.65. She took obviously college classes, and it was weighted. She played soccer for 4 years. She played lacrosse 10th and 11th grade. She was in the National Honor Society 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. She exceeded her community award service, and she's going to be attending Hood College. The gentleman was Farad Stevens. He had a GPA of 3.1. He played basketball at Elkton High School, and he's going to attend Norfolk State University. And with that, and we know next year they just get the letter, Michelle, and the check, and you have to take care of that.
I think that's a great move.
Okay, thanks, I'm done.
All right, very good. This is the time of the meeting. We open up the floor for any public comment. Come on down, Miss Sarah. Tell us what you got.
And Sheila and Jessica.
All right.
We are officially the Hollingsworth Landing Association. That is the name that our association has adopted, and we are a residents group in the Hollingsworth and Hollingsworth Manor and Elk Landing neighborhoods.
Can you repeat that, I'm sorry? The what?
Our official name is now Hollingsworth Landing Association. We have been doing all kinds of fun things that you guys have been apprised of and a part of, and we are excited to bring you a few more things as well as a request, an invitation, and a lot of information for you. I want to start, Sheila's going to pass you out our graduation invitations. We are throwing a party for the 7 graduates in our neighborhood. So we are inviting the board to attend the graduation party next week for the graduates from Hollingsworth Manor, Elk Landing neighborhoods. We have partnered intricately with MRBC, who leases the Family Ed Center from the town of Elkton, as well as the properties there too. The Family Ed Center is fantastic. For any of the members of the community that don't know what goes on at the Family Ed Center, I encourage you to look up the Family Ed Center and MRDC because they do more than just Head Start. They have a GED program twice a week. They provide dinner for those students. They have a lot going on, and it is going to continue to increase. Our request is about our movie night. As a neighborhood association, we have chose to present a family movie night, 3 separate movies throughout the course of the summer. I believe Tammy Duff reached out to the town in tandem with my request to use the field that's adjacent to the Family Ed Center for seating for the family movie night. We will be showing How to Train Your Dragon 3 on the 29th of this month. I have all this in my head, sorry.
Saturday.
Yes, it is Saturday. And MRDC has graciously partnered with us and has made it possible for us to provide popcorn and water for all those that attend as well. So the only thing you need to bring is bug spray and chairs.
Where is your location?
It's going to be at 200 South Beach, yeah, 200B Road, Hollingsworth Manor. It's the Family Ed Center that's in the center of Hollingsworth Manor. It's formerly the Judy Center, but MRDC runs the Family Ed Center and provides a Head Start program. So there's a lot going on in that area. It's also where we had our resource day back in April as well. So anyone that would like to attend, there's not a ton of parking. It is meant for our community, so everyone should be able to walk to it, or those that can't, there is some parking. Come out and watch a movie with us. It does need to be kind of towards the later part of the day, simply because we are using a large blow-up screen, so it needs to be dark for that to be seen. The screen itself will not be located on town property. For legal reasons, to be able to show the video, the screen itself has to be on private property, and we have permission from the tenant and property owner to use a backyard that is adjacent to the field that we are hoping you are willing to let us use. Tammy is provided the town with the insurance rider necessary to cover the event. We do have 3 dates in mind. The first one is the flyer that you have in front of you for the 29th, and then July 24th and it's July 27th and August 24th. Those movies have not yet been picked, but we will be putting out flyers for those as we move forward. Any questions about our movie night as we're asking for the use of the property?
Lou, I was looking through the lease of the...
We lease the entire property, building and the land to Maroon Rural Development
So
Corporation.
really, we don't...
So if they permit it, that's fine. We don't need
Yeah,
to
I
permit it
got
because it's under
a
lease.
confirmation email today stating that approvals and permissions in regards to all that.
So above and beyond that, it's nice to let you know that we're
Yes.
using the
Thank
property
you.
that way as well.
Yes.
So I do appreciate that.
I think it's fantastic that you're bringing this together.
We're trying to bring the community together as a whole because the community has a long-standing history of negativity. And the 3 of us combined are trying to bring positivity back to the community and show that we're not just a bunch of thugs and hoodlums. We are actually a wonderful community that needs to grow that way. And that's as well.
Our mission statement is positive change by positive actions.
Very nice.
So to that end, we do publish a Hollingsworth Post. It's our own little newsletter. Goes out monthly. We include a recipe as well as things going on in the neighborhood, such as our front yard initiative. This is where we encouraged our neighbors to improve our front yards. And we had a contest, and the winner received a gift card. Was voted on our Facebook groups. There's a lot of information on that tiny little piece of paper that we're handing out, including activities to find in our neighborhood, Vacation Bible School, Parish Kids Club. We had a community yard sale last weekend. It seems like an endless list, and that's because we are going to be a neighborhood of positive thinkers. So we hope to bring that on a regular basis, or at least send it to you. We are currently housing a pantry in Sheila's backyard, so that anyone in need within our neighborhood can reach out to Sheila. She has 2 available days, Monday and Friday, that she opens the pantry. She accepts non-perishable goods as well as frozen and some fresh food, depending on the time of
the week so that it doesn't spoil before she can hand it out on either Monday or Friday. The meat shop graciously donated 4 cases of frozen steaks and chicken and seafood recently. So there's that going on in our neighborhood. We have big plans for hopefully having a community center where we can run the pantry and hand out clothing as well. I'm sorry to take up so much time. I still have one more thing. We are currently working on getting a training set up for the ABC, which is Asset-Based Communities. This is a program that helps helps communities identify resources within their community and catalog them so that we are able to then reach out to those needs reach out to those resources when there's a need. We would like to invite your Parks and Rec Advisory Board to that as soon as we have a date, because listening to them talk, it sounds like they need to find out what is needed within the neighborhood, and I think this program itself has really generated towards finding where the needs are in the neighborhoods and the communities, as well as what we have in assets. So as soon as I have that, I will gladly send that information to Mary and welcome anybody that would like to join that training to learn more about asset-based communities. So we are, like I said, we have a lot going on.
A tremendous amount.
I personally would like to thank you for the invite to the graduation party, but unfortunately, we'll be down to Ocean City for the
I caught on to that,
conference.
but I still wanted to explain.
I just wanted to let you know that it wasn't overlooked.
No, we appreciate that. We're going to try and make this an annual thing to recognize those children in our neighborhood that succeed at high school, because not every child can, and those that don't have support aren't going to. So if we can start this promotion of finishing high school, the more we do it, the better turnout the kids are going to have.
The harder communities are more difficult sometimes for kids to, the community sometimes defines the children. They run around and they don't have more support that they need. But with us, we're trying to show we are here to support your education. We're here to show the community is willing to go the extra mile with these strive for something.
I think it's fantastic, and I'm glad that we're talking about graduation, because I would have forgot something this evening, and I think it's important to, it could fit very well for your neighborhood or any of the neighborhoods in town. But I had received a phone call from Cecil College, Elkton Station, and there's several scholarships available for young or old people that have any interest of going into the HVAC world. So they're going to be offering classes in September and then also in the spring. But if you know anyone in the neighborhood that wants to take a 3-hour class starting in September, the first semester is on the heating side, and the spring semester will be on the air conditioning side. But it's actually, they're going to scholarship, I think, up to 11 applicants, and you have to go apply in person, but I think it's a great thing. So maybe there might be someone that wants to develop a trade.
We will definitely share that information. We also have volunteers coming.
Leadership program will be coming to see if they can help the students prolong their activities, like if they want to go to college or get transportation to their job.
So it's senior citizens that have completed a volunteer program, then they're reaching out to graduates and children in need and kind of mentoring them, kind of like a big grandparents, instead of like big brothers. So I'm hoping that it yields wonderful things for these children.
Fantastic.
And I have one request that's unrelated to Hollingsworth Manor. I'm so sorry. There is a tree or bush in the park. As you go around the back side of the park, just past the bridge, you cannot go past without raking the side of your car down this tree if there's anybody in the walking lane.
At Meadow Park.
Yes, sir. Can we please get it trimmed? I have hit that
Lou's on it.
twice a week.
Lou is on it. I
For the
can see
past
he's
5
already
weeks.
got Meadow Park. As soon as you go past the bridge on the right-hand side, there's a tree overhanging, it'll
Yeah.
scratch your car. We're on it.
I'm not worried about my car getting scratched, but it's just, like, I was coming through there and I'm like, man, why is this in the way?
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you
I
so
have
much. Yes,
There you
please.
go, ladies. First, I'd like to applaud your efforts. You're doing
Yes.
great things over there. But my one question is, do you have a seating capacity for your movie night?
No, it's outside. It's a huge field. So if you have a blanket, you can sit there. The only restriction to the property is that there is no smoking. It is a school. So all smoking must be done off property. And we have a DJ that's going to be there. We have refreshments available. It's just, we're gonna have fun. And we're hoping to add more things to the one in July. Face painting, balloons, something.
That's great. Thank you.
Does the Six County Public Schools still offer the free lunch?
Yes.
Okay.
That is a wonderful thing to bring up, Mr. Gibbons, because it is underutilized in a lot of the locations that it is offered. So if you know of any children that are in need of lunches and breakfast in some cases throughout the neighborhood or communities, it's offered in a number of locations. It's offered here in this building, breakfast and lunch. It's offered in the Family Ed Center as well, breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday, which starts next week at the Family Ed Center. There
Gilpin
is-
Manor School too.
I'm sorry?
Gilpin Manor School.
Yes, and I believe it was at Thompson Estates, no, not this year.
There's a number of places, and that's very good because a lot of children go to school and they depend upon the breakfast and the lunch, so they still extending it, even though school's out.
Not every place offers breakfast, and please reach out to, I'm sure Mary has a list. We have one that we published on our Facebook. So if you know a child in need, reach out to myself or Sheila, and we can get that information forwarded along to them. As the times change according to the location and exactly what is offered, if it's just breakfast or lunch, and some of them don't offer Friday meals. And parents can also get a meal. There is a small fee of, I believe, $2 or $2.22 or something for the parent to eat. But the meals are wonderful. My son has been getting them this week at the camp, the day camp here. He was very upset with me Monday because I brought his lunch for him, and I was not allowed to pack it the next 2 weeks because he wanted his lunch at day camp like everyone else.
Very good. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Anyone else have anything to say this evening?
Because I didn't get the on time?
There you go. Just a little bit of housekeeping. I believe we are not having a meeting on July 3rd, or are we having a meeting on July 3rd?
I have an agenda for it, but.
Okay, that's fine.
The issue was, I think, was the board going to authorize a holiday on July 5th?
That's correct. I think we had a straw vote, and I think everything was fine to close town offices on July 5th. Everyone's good with that, right? And so we are going to have a town meeting on July 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And the 3rd is the groundbreaking also.
That's correct. We're going to have the groundbreaking of the new community center, so everyone is welcome. I think it's at 1 o'clock or 1:30?
11.
11? I better change that right now. Oh, I do have 11. Very good. Before we adjourn I think that was one of Lewis's pictures. Before we adjourn the meeting, we are going to have a closed meeting, and we will not reconvene. So I need to have a motion from someone from the board to have a closed meeting to consider a matter that concerns a proposal for a business or industrial organization to create, expand, or remain in the town, and also to consult with counsel to obtain a legal advice on a legal matter. Do we have a motion?
So
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned, and we will not reconvene.